everyone and welcome back. In this video I will be teaching you how to play Sonata number 16 by Mozart in C major. The C major scale is like this. Knowing that is going to allow you to understand how Mozart came up with this melody. And we have this. The same chord up here is broken down. So we start on C. And we have just that. So notice that as the notes go up, we could increase a little bit the volume, get to B, and then C, D, and C should be lighter because it's going back to the same C major chord. Knowing that melody is going to allow you to know that if we play C major here, that means we'll play C major on the left hand also. And we have these notes with that chord. If we break them down, we could play them together: C, E, G, and then we're going to change. And we got the first measure. So you don't have to do anything here. You just keep very light the left hand, and maybe we count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And C, we start with, and we increase the sound as we go to E and G. One last time. When we get to this chord, that comes from a G7 chord. It comes from the scale. That's your G7. But he's going to take G, F, and D and bring it up here just to keep the voices close to C major. So we have this now. 2 C majors to G7 to C major. The reason I spent time explaining this is because that G7 is going to create tension. And if we add it together with the melody, we're going to see how this tension is released back to C major. So if we play it together, we have this. Tension. And then release here when we play these 2 notes back to C. That's very important. And it teaches you a lot that knowing harmony is allowing you to play better because you understand where the release is. So if we do it together and we do the matching, we have first notes, the E matches, the G also, the B matches there, and we go back to C. Okay? So notice here that the G7, which was like this, if we flip the F and the D, we get this. So the B is also G7 and is part of the melody. Okay? I always recommend playing like this so you can see how to flash out the harmony and where you're going to release or where you're going to increase. Knowing more is going to allow you to do more. So one last time. And there is a rest for the last 2 notes. Now we're going to change. So very important. So we have 1 chord and also we have the 5th chord, which in this case is flipped all the way here. Very simple. Now what we're going to do is open up. So we're going to go to the 4th chord, which is F major. Flip that to keep the voices close. And we're going to have this melody. But notice the F major chord here flipped to C major. So we have this melody with the trill. I added the trill in this case. And the harmony for the left ear, we're going to have F major, C major to G major. This comes from this chord. It's also flipped throughout the versions and back to C. If we break them down, G major to C. Okay, because we're going from here, we're opening up, we're going up. So this we're gonna do more color. This also color here on G. And when you get here, you should think like that. That's going down the notes. If you have the trill, also you should go down. Okay, if we move them around now, loud here. Okay, so notice tension more because we're going up. We get the G now, but when I end up light. Okay, so if we do the matching, first one matches, C major matches. Now here D matches the trill, and then we have to match E, F by itself, E together, and then we're gonna switch. So if we play it all together now, tension, release, more. Okay, when you do the trill, because you're kind of getting into that G, the F and G, this should be very light. Remember that we end there. Okay, so this, you could do it shorter too, you could do. Or you could do. So, for trills, we always turn towards the note that we're playing. And we articulate a little bit. And then we're gonna switch. If we go by the slur, notice that we have, we get here, release, and we get to the scales. Hope this is helpful. Always remember to keep in mind the melody, the chords, and the rhythm. In this case, we have 4 beats. Let's continue now. It's gonna get to the scales now. So for all the scale section, when we started, you have to think that it's a very basic scale, just like we play C major. The thing is how we get the speed. So when we do it on A, notice that we're ascending, that we have an 8th note here. So we have, okay? So how do I solve the scale so I always sound even? So what I always recommend is the note that you play, always keep enough pressure to hold it down, but don't press too hard. That means once you play like this, is I'm letting go. So somewhere in between, just play and keep holding it, but very light pressure. So now I'm gonna do just that, very light pressure, and I'm gonna show you all the notes. So we start on 1. We get to 1 here on D, all the way up to A. Descending, we always do 4 to get us back to the next note down, to G. We go to G, same finger, 4 again. That gets us back to F. After 3, we switch. Switch again to A. 1. And we get to D. And then it's going to change a little bit, and it's also going to change the scales. So when you're playing this first, keep enough pressure to hold the notes. So, or you could think it as playing almost like if you don't care. That means no tension on the hand, and you just move the fingers. If you move the fingers freely like this, it feels like this. So you could do on the piano like this, and then when you play it, it's just that feel. The next thing is, when you start on the thumb, make sure you're close enough to the center of the key, and then you pull out a little bit and in on the thumb. So you pull in here, pull in, and that is a turn here and back to get you to G. I'll do it again on all the turns. So you start here, you pull out, you turn a little bit, you pass to the D. As your fingers get smaller, you go in a little bit, in, turn, and that gets you to G. And we repeat the same technique. 3, in, out, out, in. We do the fourth finger, go in again, turn, same thing. And that will get you the speed. Now, sometimes you can practice according to the motion. Let's say you can see that we're going from A to A. So you practice. So if you're gonna get the speed from D to A, you have to rotate towards here. In and out. So we have in, out, out, in. That's the motion. Once you play faster, the motion gets smaller, but it's there. And then we add the A, B, C with the turn. And we have solo ascending. Now if we go to the next measure, you notice it's the same pattern starting on G. We do the same. So you could practice towards the motion that you're going, which is up, from the 1, 2nd, and 3rd beat song. And remember, there's always an 8th note at the beginning before the 16 notes. So that's all I would do. Being careful that you press very light, and then on the turn, make sure you do this movement. Go all the way up, and same with all of them. Notice that we always have 3 notes like this, and then 5 notes like this. To solve the 5 notes, always rotate, and if the fingers are shorter, go in a little bit, not too much. So if you got this, then you connect it by doing this motion. And it's all the same. Now, when you do the descending, it's the same thing. You're gonna start close to the keys. The A is gonna come up by itself because you're gonna push down, and then up. And then the turn again. So turn, and you go towards the, if you go from C to G, you will do that. So you add the fingers in between. So you add the fingers in between. G. And always the 4th finger. Okay? Now to do it together, you have to have all those movements. Okay, let's put it together. Here on the first note, we go all the way up. D minor to C major. This one matches also C major to D minor 7. Here we have a G major, the B, the D, back to C. That could be like an A minor, and we get to D minor. To practice this little passage, you could use rhythms. Slow and fast. You could do the opposite. You could do every 4. And then just play it. then here we get to D minor, and it's the melodic minor. Notice that there's a C sharp in it. 1, 1 again, and then we do 2 here. We switch on 3, and we get back to the C major. The important thing about this line is the left hand. We have down melody, so when we play on D, so you're going to think on the left hand a little bit more. And when we resolve this, first you could think it on the beat. 1 note. Then 2, so you play. Then you put 1 note. And then you put all the notes. So it's almost like these 2, it helps to center the hand. Emphasize the first one, lighten up. Emphasize. So in other words, we're kind of rotating toward the thumb. And that's all we have. So if we play from D minor, let's do the matching. A is gonna match those 2 notes, and then B, E, every other note. Let's play it now. I hope this video was helpful, and if you enjoyed, subscribe. Thank you very much.